because part of the presentation had to do with um, some complaints we've had in the last few years about black women not being a part of or being pushed to the side of the Black Panther Party and the movement. And that was just not true. As you all know, I know when you see this graphic, I know you know who this is, right? One of Destiny's favorite people, of course, Angela Davis. Okay. Uh, this is Kathleen Cleaver, Eldridge's wife, but she was also, I believe, she was uh, Minister of Communications Director for some years, and still around and still kicking too. Here's one of Clyde's favorite people. Do you know her? That's Elaine Brown. For those who don't know, do you know her, Clyde? Uh, Elaine Brown is also a prominent member of the Black Panther Party. Okay. Uh, Now, some people know who this young lady is, um, and you have to even be careful. I won't say her name out loud. I'll let you all know who this is. And the reason why I won't say her name out loud is because there's still such a hate going on for this sister. In fact, not that long ago, um, this state trooper in New Jersey, he's black, and he was helping out a family member who was putting out a T-shirt for Black History Month, and on that T-shirt it was various pictures, graphics of different black women, um, strong black women, including Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. I think Ida B. Wells is on there, and a photo of this sister. Now, he says he didn't even know who she was. He was just helping out his family member. But apparently somebody snitched on him to his bosses, and they suspended him and then fired him apparently. But when they fired him, they didn't use the T-shirt as the reason. They used other stuff. But that's what it was about. It was about him using this graphic of not this particular one, but having his sister on the T-shirt. Okay. Now I know you know who this is. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Now why is Shaka Khan on here? Because Shaka Khan, when she was 16 years old, she met Fred Hampton and became a part of the Black Panther Party and helped run the free breakfast program. Most people don't know that. But yeah, she was a real live Black Panther Party member. Okay. Uh, Now let me see if anybody knows who this sister is here. I'm gonna give you a minute to figure out who this sister is. She has passed. She passed in I think in 2016. See if y'all know. I'll give you a hint this much. She has a very, very, very famous son who is no longer with us either. Okay? Anybody care to guess? Okay. Um, Her name is Afeni Shakur. Afeni Shakur. Afeni. Afeni Shakur. And that's right. She's Tupac's mom. And for those that don't know, Afeni Shakur was definitely a Black Panther Party member. In fact, she was a member of the New York 21. which was a big famous case where in New York they rounded up 21 members of the Black Panther Party and locked them up on this big ass, excuse me, a big A conspiracy charge. Had them in jail. Most of them couldn't get out on bail. And they held them for 2 years before they finally went to trial. They had the trial. And within 15 minutes, y'all, the jury came back not guilty on all counts. Now, Afeni, she defended herself, and she was pregnant with Tupac at the time. And I think she gave birth to Tupac like a couple of weeks after she was acquitted. Okay? Yeah, that's a very young picture of her. Yes, very young picture of her. But she was an active member of the Black Panther Party in New York. Okay? Now, this one will probably fool you. You may not know who this young lady is at all, but I'll give you some hints in this sense. Her name is Frederica Newton. Frederica Newton. Fredrikawton. That might help you a little bit. I'll give you another minute to see if you can guess who this is. Right, thank you, Dusty. She texted in the name. See if that helps anybody. And while you do that, I'm gonna have a sip of agua, of water. Okay. Okay, Dusty says Huey Newton. Well, yeah, there's some relationship there. Clyde says his wife. You're right. Frederica was Huey's second wife. She's still alive. And yes, y'all never hear them talk about any of his wives. He was married twice. You know, just like you don't generally hear that he went on and got his PhD. He was Dr. Huey P. Newton by the time he was killed. In fact, he did his thesis on the Black Panther Party. I think that is so cool. But that's Frederica Newton. Okay. All right, one more. This is Erica Huggins, and I include her because she was very, very important to the Black Panther Party up in New England, I think mostly, but she doesn't get as much attention, but she should. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's deep, ain't it? That they don't talk a lot about the women in the party. Erica Huggins, right? All right. So I wanted you to get a glimpse of some of the Black Panther Party folks. And now part of what I wanted to do today was, like I say, I mentioned some of the points that actually are in the movie, Black Panther movie. And one of the things about that is the political part of this. All right, let me run through these real quick. All right. The Black Panther Party program and platform. Remember, I said it's two, I think that was in the other earlier piece. But they had a platform and a program. And I say it over and over again because you very, very seldom hear it being said like that. There was a platform and a program. Now, the the program was what we want. The platform was what we believe. And how that worked was like this. Number one, what we want. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black and oppressed communities. That's what we want. What we believe goes along with point number one. We believe that black and oppressed people will not be free until we are able to determine our destinies in our own communities ourselves by fully controlling all the institutions which exist in our communities. You see the relationship, what we want and what we believe. That's why you have to keep them together, the program and the platform. Number two, what we want. We want full employment for our people. What we believe. We believe that the federal government is responsible and obligated to give every person employment or a guaranteed income. Check it out. We believe that if the American businessmen will not give full employment, then the technology and means of production should be taken from the businessmen and placed in the community so that the people of the community can organize and employ all of its people and give a high standard of living. Woo! Y'all check that out. Think about that. Ain't that deep? See, that's why you have to have the what we want and what we believe, the platform and the program. I'll do one more. Number three, we want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black and oppressed communities. That's what we want. We want an end to the robbery. What we believe that this racist government has robbed us, and now we are demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and 2 mules. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 100 years ago as restitution for slave labor and mass murder of black people. We will accept the payment in currency, which will be distributed to our many communities. The American racist has taken part in the slaughter of over 50 million black people. Therefore, we feel this is a modest demand that we make. See, and I know Clyde loves this because, see, most people don't realize in the program and the platform, there was a demand for reparations. Okay? They used the word restitution. They didn't use reparations, but it's the same thing. Okay? So, and that's the primary thing I wanted to make sure we dealt with today, and that everybody who sees this, hears this, whatever, please get a copy. There are various copies on the internet, but you want to make sure that you get one that has the party program and the platform. Okay? And that's what our children need to know about, to see. Okay? And not just the children, the adults too. That there was a platform and a program. And think about it, 50 years later, y'all, every one of those elements in the platform can be addressed today and need to be addressed today, especially when it comes to, well, all of them, housing, justice, particularly with the police brutality, and that's something 50 years ago. So, one of the things I got to mention this before I close here. One of the things that was in this documentary that you don't see anywhere in any, at least not that I've seen, in terms of when they talk about the Black Panther Party in that time period, but was in this documentary in France, was that two things. One was about the hair. Um, Kathleen and others talking about the importance of wearing their hair natural. And even when you saw that clip that you did see, you saw more froze than you've seen in your lifetime, right? The other was about something we call the Little Red Book, quotations of Chairman Mao. And virtually back then in the 68, well, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, brothers and sisters, virtually all of us in the movement, all of us that were in that level of the movement, we had the Little Red Book. It was a book, a small book that we all carried, and it had a red cover, and it was called Quotations of Chairman Mao. Back then, of course, we called him Mao Zedong. Now later, the American media changed it and started calling Mao Zedong, and that wasn't no accident. But the Little Red Book was it was everywhere. And let me see. Let me see. Clyde says exactly. Unlike our current leadership, well, I should say Black Lives Matter has reparations as a written goal, which is never ever talked about in public. You're right, Clyde. I don't like to talk about that subject. Um, but I'm wondering if if uh, if James from Philly would probably remember this, as Clyde, you might remember it too. The Little Red Book was everywhere, and we knew it. We knew very much or much of the quotations in the book. We used to debate them because it wasn't just quotations. They weren't just idle quotations. It was part of ideology, strategy, tactics, and the feds. J. Edgar Hoover hated that. That's why one of the reasons why he said what he said. They tried to make it seem like the uh, Black Panther Party, just like they tried to say about the Civil Rights Movement. J. Edgar Hoover said it was run by the communists. They were the ones doing all this stuff. That wasn't true. Uh, the Black Panther Party was not run by some foreign communists neither. But that's what they tried to imply. Oh, Clyde, Clyde said he got one. He got a little red book. This graphic right here that you're seeing right now, you see Kathleen Cleaver on the right, but this is the women's. Those women were in um, Algiers when the Black Panther Party spread internationally. Those were the first um, women who went over to Algiers and set up the international um wing of the Black Panther Party. It was women. So that's a rare photograph. And in fact, sometimes when you see it, they won't even know where that is. Here it is again. They were in Algiers in 19, I believe that was 1970, might have been 1971. Okay. Um, as I close out, I wanted to run a piece from the news from 50, well, it was 50 years after the Black Panther Party started. Um, but I'm actually afraid to now because uh, since we know they're watching this one like crazy, right? This is actually a CBS news feature, but I'm not going to run it. I'll figure out another way to do it. Oh, I know what I'll do. I will, because it's on YouTube. I'll place it down in the forum with, proper link to it, and you should check it out because it's a look at the CBS took a look at the Black Panther Party and its legacy 50 years later, which would have been 2016. Okay, and it's an interesting piece. So, with that said, and I know some of y'all probably gonna get you a little red book if you can find one. Okay. Uh, but before I close entirely, part of why I wanted to do this today was to look back at the Black Panther Party from a different view in terms of ideology and some of the things that came out of the movement itself. And I know when you saw those black folks in that opening piece with the froze and the African garb and everything, right? What are we seeing right now with the Black Panther movie? You're seeing all over the country black people, young and old, who are dressing in African garb or their interpretation of African garb to go to the movie. Now, I don't really mind that, but here's what I do say. Um, Folks that do that, please, and if you know folks who are doing this, please mention this to them, because I've seen a few brothers doing it. I haven't seen any sisters do it. But some brothers in some cities are wearing the lion's head or a leopard skin with the head, like in the movie Eddie Murphy's movie. What's the name of it? Uh, Y'all know what I'm talking about. Um, anyway, in that Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America. In Coming to America, the king, when he shows up, he's wearing this big old lion's skin with the head. That's not African. Black people, and never have I seen Africans in any of the 52 plus countries, have I ever seen any Africans wearing a lion's skin and head. That was, it's part of what the Black Panther movie is actually addressing. One of the things it addresses is our lack of knowledge, even though we're earnest in wanting to touch our roots, right? But we have to be careful. One of the things that Eddie Murphy did with Coming to America, he was trying to reflect an African kingdom, but he does not know, or didn't back then, didn't know enough. And so what he ended up doing was putting in the movie things he had learned being here and seeing Europeans' versions of African kingdoms. Okay, and in some ways, he also interpreted or put in the movie European style kingdom stuff and just put a black face on it. And that's not how it worked. It didn't work then, it don't work now. Now, in the Black Panther movie, they have intentionally made sure they included some African traditions, cultures, and things from different African countries. Excuse me. And that at least is better because they at least are genuine, and because it's a fictional country, then it just allows all of us to participate. Okay? But yeah, if you see a brother wearing a lion's head, tell him to take that off and go home. Okay? Thank you, Dusty. Dusty put up a thread with the Black Panther Party platform and program. Okay. All right, I'm out of here. I appreciate your patience today. They got us good though. They got me good because They watch us that close. So even though I didn't put the true title in the uh, in the what you call it, to say what the real title was, they was lurking, and I know what happened. They saw that footage was genuine, and they probably don't even know where it comes from. But they said, "Oh, no, 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 we cannot allow this kind of footage to be out there for people to see all these black people organized," and they did it for several years, particularly about freeing Huey. Uh, and just seeing all those black folks happy and organized, and all those black women part of the movement. And they said, "Oh shoot." They had a hotline to YouTube's. I never forget that, Dusty. You said 3.5 seconds. Yeah, it was. It was. But that's okay. That's okay. We will get them. And in the meantime, no justice, no peace, no love. KNOW.